Ex-TNA star Hernandez is accused of misconduct. Plus, we have an update on AEW's TV deal and the latest on AJ Styles amid his latest WWE absence. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Former TNA star Shawn Hernandez has been accused of misconduct towards female wrestlers by several former colleagues on the indie wrestling scene. River City Wrestling promoter Brandon Oliver, along with current talent Raina Pink and former talent Megan Dowell, made posts on Facebook accusing Hernandez of numerous predatory acts towards female talent. These include sexual favors in return for wrestling bookings, distributing indecent images to talent, blackmail, as well as verbal and physical abuse.
At the time of this recording, Shawn Hernandez hasn't commented on the accusations. He's currently the head coach at San Antonio Style Wrestling, who recently worked alongside TNA at their Victory Road and Impact tapings. Hernandez, alongside Joey Spector, runs Austin Wrestling Revolution, and they have a show upcoming this Saturday in San Antonio.
And as we say, at the moment, no comment made by Shawn Hernandez, but when we know more about this, we'll let you know more at cultaholic.com. Now, a lot of conversation around the future of AEW on television may be about to come to a head, according to a report by John Oran of Puck News.
Yes, according to John, we've got some big snippets here. He says the deal for AEW going on the television there is expected to be 4 years with 3 guarantee years, with WBD having the option to extend the contract by a further year. Around $170 million a year is apparently the ballpark, the quote, according to Oran. The current TV deals are around $70 million per year, which is obviously a massive increase potentially.
That is a big bump for AEW with WBD. Now, the deal will also see AEW shows, of course, airing on TNT, TBS, and True TV, but they will air 2 times a week across those networks. They're really keen to push that as their sort of leading sports brand, since they've had issues with the basketball. So AEW may get even more feature on TNT, TBS, and True TV with this new deal starting.
Despite what Tony Khan's hat might say on his forehead from time to time, there's no mention of the Max streaming deal in the report, but it is noted that AEW are pitching other separate packages to broadcast channels.
Now, one of those packages could be a show with Fox. They recently did AEW trademark AEW Shockwave. A lot of people thought this might end up being a TV show for Fox or FS1 in the wake of SmackDown leaving Fox, a new wrestling product for Fox from AEW. That hasn't been confirmed with the report that we have read today, and it's certainly one that we'll keep an eye on. I think the name AEW Shockwave does certainly lean to it being another TV show for AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. And wouldn't it be funny? There's been a wrestling-shaped hole left on Fox. Tony Khan jumping in there. Why the hell not?
Well, yeah, we've seen it in the past. We've seen, with TNA and WWE swapping beds with certain broadcast partners over the years as well. So it's not uncommon for when WWE leaves one place, another wrestling promotion to slide in there. And we could see that with AEW. Of course, nothing's yet completely 100% signed, but a lot of the optics say that it's a matter of weeks now before we get that confirmed. When we know more, we'll let you know more. Cultaholic.com as well. Now, Lita and Trish were in Northern Ireland this
Northern
weekend.
Ireland, as they like to say it. I went to school with a lad called Jimmy from Northern Ireland who said when you say Northern Ireland, you got to say it like that.
Oh, really?
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Thanks to Jimmy. Up the Jimmy. Lita and Trish were guests at Northern Ireland Comic-Con. And now they were asked numerous questions. One about a potential future opponent for Trish Stratus, which we'll get to in a second. But first, they were asked about changes they would make to the women's division today. And what did Lita say?
Yeah, Lita said, I think I would like to have a little bit more focus on characters, right? I feel like for sure now there's way more opportunities for women. Obviously, we see them main eventing all the time, and we see them in high-profile matches. But I think what we had back in the day was a lot more character stuff. You've got these characters, and the fans, they could really resonate with the character a little bit more. Now they're just kind of having these great matches, but there's no backstory as much as there was back in the day. So I think character development would be one thing I'd like to focus on. And then she goes on to mention an intergender championship challenge between the genders.
Yes.
Where the genders put to the back burner.
Lita saying that she is very keen at this point now to see more intergender championships within wrestling. Now, obviously on some promotions, they do have those intergender titles. I know OTT has a gender-neutral championship, the GN title. I know some have unofficial, now gender-neutral titles, what with Charlie Evans being the PWA champion, first female to win the PWA title in Australia, which pushed her up the tally of the PWI 500 this time round. It's something that we feel WWE is very reticent to do. There's been numerous conversations about a match between Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio, and while that seems to be the obvious end game, I don't know whether we will ever truly get it outside of maybe a couple of physical interactions with Rhea getting one up on Dom.
Yeah, and the overriding thing, it always has to be the right sort of character when it comes to WWE. It always has to be someone like Dom, who isn't the most jacked member of the roster. He's a bit of a chicken poo heel, and obviously the mammy comes along and throw him around a bit. But I don't think you'd ever see Rhea Ripley going on and taking on, I don't know, just anyone in like the Intercontinental Championship division, just as like a stand-up contest, which I think is what Lita is hinting more out there.
To have it more so, it's just part and parcel with everything that is. There's quite a few indie promotions that do run it that way. Our lovely North Wrestling in Newcastle. It was last year's last main event of the year. It was Leon Slater versus Rio for the North title, and it was fantastic.
Well, I was a thunderstruck too, watching two lasses getting thrown around, and they were throwing around men in ladders and whatnot.
That's it.
Men in ladders.
Men in ladders.
Oh, dear God.
So it's happening everywhere. Maybe on the mainstreams it should be something that happens as well. Your thoughts down below. Trish Stratus also was asked about who she'd like to face on the current WWE roster, and she said Becky Lynch. Oh wait, we did that already. What time is it? It's Tiffy time. I mean, she's a little arrogant. I think it'd be interesting to show her what it's all about from someone back in the day. Maybe Tiffany Stratton. Stratton versus Stratus.
Yeah.
I like that.
They did a little backstage thingy a little while ago. I forget when it was. It was this year, certainly. I can tell you that much for sure, Tom. So it looks like that's a thing that's in the works already.
I think that'd be a wonderful WrestleMania match for Tiffy Strats.
Oh, yes, as long as Trish loses.
As long as Trish loses.
You can't be killing Tiffy Strats with an old timer.
But you know what? to Becky's credit, like Becky came in, lost to Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam. She lost the feud with Becky Lynch in very grand style. I don't think Trish has any issues with coming in and taking the 3 count for Tiffy Strats.
It's a passing of the torch, isn't it?
Passing of the torch.
Especially if Trish dyes her hair blonde again.
Yes, she needs to dye her hair blonde for that one. That needs to be a blonde dye type job. Now, we will end on some news regarding AJ, who has once again disappeared as AJ Styles. Ran a lovely feud with Cody Rhodes, and then...
Boof. Well, Fightful have an update for us, everybody. They're saying AJ Styles is healthy and just isn't being used on TV at the moment. He was on the WWE Overseas Tour, but wasn't featured on television. He worked 5 straight nights in the world title matches against Cody Rhodes. He also worked last month's Japan Tour in world title matches. It looks like they got no plans.
Yeah, so I think there was a few people wondering whether or not he's been injured again, which is why he hasn't been there. So that's why this Fightful report is really important, just to say he is healthy and he is fine. I think it's just a case of resting him until there is something that they want to do with him, rather than just, you got a guy like AJ Styles who's very open about saying that, he's sort of in the sunset now of his time in wrestling. So you want to use him in those key moments and not burn him out on the way to that, because we've seen many wrestlers who get burnt out on the way to their final run. So yeah, use him as and where you need to.
Yeah, and if he's got no plans, just don't bring him on the road, which is quite nice, isn't it? A bygone era, be made to sit in catering and eat chicken and whatnot while being miserable and being away from his family. But now they've got no plans. Stay at home. Why the hell not?
Stay at home, chill out, have a lovely time with it, of course. Hope you're having a lovely time today as well. And for the latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.